each interception is roughly $1 million+. And that's just over the course of time, that's just not something that Israel can sustain, nor can Israel sustain the current pace that it is in shooting down the drones and rockets coming out of Lebanon, where we've only seen a fraction of what Hezbollah has been able to unleash. As we all know, there's something like 200,000 rockets in the Hezbollah arsenal, as well as precision-guided munitions and other dangerous weapons that can be deployed against Israel. So what we're looking at right now is the Iranian ring of fire strategy, where it has encircled Israel with multiple proxies. Israel's going to need to go north, and it's going to need to battle Hezbollah, because those 100,000 Israelis have been forced out of their homes in the northern communities, and Israel's not going to end the war before they are returned to their homes. And I mean, I can tell you that the Israelis actually wanted to start this war in the north. They did not want to start in Gaza. The Biden administration steered them away from the north because it was going to be a more difficult battle. It was going to be one that would be more brutal and that would require more assistance from the U.S. And the way that I heard it from someone who was in the room was that Biden said, don't start wars that you can't finish without us. So they said, go south. And so the Israelis went south, and they're on the 5-yard line, and they're being told not to finish that war either. At some point, they're going to do it. And I think right now we can see that there is an incremental approach to what's happening in Rafah, that they've now moved into eastern Rafah and along the Philadelphia corridor, and then they're going to, I think, slowly move their way further and further to where the center of the action is. But when that's done, they're going to have to go north. And by the way, when they go north, that battle will be brutal. That battle will likely lead to Israeli skyscrapers being toppled. You will see tens of thousands of dead on the Israeli side if this war comes to pass, unless Israel does something that we just were not ready for, that we couldn't see coming. But if this turns into a 12-round heavyweight bout, there will be a lot of damage in Israel as a result. But it won't even end there, because don't forget, there's about 12 Shia militias in Iraq and Syria that need to be dealt with. The Houthis in Yemen need to be dealt with. And then don't forget, you've got the Islamic Republic itself, which just recently fired 300 missiles and drones at Israel, and they've got a lot more where that came from. And they may yet still make a dash for a nuclear weapon. So we are in the middle of, I think, really the first round of a long battle that may be ahead. And getting back to, I think, Daniel's conception here, Israel needs to be able to articulate what its strategy is for victory, and not just for Hamas. That's small fries, or as they say in Hebrew, kesef katan. What we need is, I think, a much bigger picture of how Israel is going to come away from this stronger and intact.
Daniel? And to continue with my indictment of the Israeli security establishment, there is no more dramatic point than these 150, 200,000 missiles and rockets in southern Lebanon. The Israelis allowed the great bulk of them to come from Iran through Syria to Lebanon. It is inexplicable. It has taken place over 15, 20 years. And I have repeatedly asked, how did this happen? Why are you doing this? I mean, there was, remember the Mavi Marmara was over a little bit of cement? I mean, nothing, triviality. And yet, in contrast to this great drama over some cement, nothing that we know of anyway has stopped these tens and tens of thousands of missiles and rockets. Unbelievable.